Flat fees will not work for you. Hi all, this is Brita for the Happier Attorney, and today's video is going to be discussing the segment of the attorney population for whom flat fees will not work. And quite frankly, the size of that population is rather large. So I'll tell you the attorneys who flat fees will not work for. The first group of attorneys, if you are one of these attorneys, hopefully you won't be watching this video, but if you are, flat fees are not going to work for you. And that is if you're a greedy whore. If you are a churner where you are constantly adding fuel to a fire to increase the conflict and thus increase your billable hours and what you're going to get paid, flat fees are not going to work for you. If you are just creating more work, it's not going to work for you. Likewise, if you are not able or willing to really have some self-examination and be willing to say, I screwed up in a case, if you screwed up in a case and give money back, flat fees are not going to work for you. In most states, you can't just say something is earned upon receipt. In some, you can. For instance, Washington, which is where I'm licensed, as well as Texas. But I'll tell you, even with my Washington clients, my attorney clients in Washington, I don't care what your fee agreement says, and I don't care what the ethical rules say. If you need to give money back to a client because you can't say that you reasonably earned it because you didn't do the job, you give it back, period. And if you're not willing to do that, then attorney's fees are not going to work out for you. And I'll tell you why. A perfect example was an attorney in Texas who was very adamant that flat fees did not work. Well, the more I talked to him, the more the actual story came out. And sure enough, what had happened was he didn't do the job he was supposed to do. Client got really mad enough to file a bar complaint and sue him. And because he refused to give any money back when he should have. And it really cost him. Well, I'll tell you, that's not a flat fee problem. That's an attorney problem. So if you're one of those attorneys, flat fees are not going to work for you. The second type of attorney who shouldn't be using flat fees are the attorneys who their ego is tied to how much they work. So these are the attorneys who you hear at court in recess talking about how much they billed over the weekend, how much they billed last year, where their self-worth is completely tied to if they're working that weekend, if they're working 50, 60, 80 hours a week. Flat fees are not going to work for you because the whole point of using flat fees is to make the same or more money and not have to work those hours. And if you have an internal conflict where you're going to feel lazy or you're going to feel like you're not a good attorney, if you're not overworking, that they might not be worth trying for you. But again, I would say that's not an attorney fee problem. That's a you problem. It's life's too short. So I would consider really looking at maybe your values and why you feel the need to work so many hours. The third group of attorneys who flat fees are not going to work for are those attorneys who are not open to learning. And quite frankly, I've talked to more than one, more than 10, who say, well, why would I pay someone to teach me X, Y, and Z when I can just learn it on my own and figure it out on my own? Well, I'll tell you why, friend, because it takes a decade or so to figure this out and to work through all of the mistakes and to do it properly. And why would you do that? Why would you try and reinvent the wheel when you can learn from other attorneys who have done it successfully and who have already made those mistakes? And those mistakes will cost you thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And then what happens is something goes awry and you're like, well, that sucks and I'm not going to use flat fees anymore. Well, again, that's not a flat fee problem. That's a you problem. So that it's either a client management problem or you didn't charge enough because you, again, didn't know what you were doing. So if you are not open to learning then flat fees are probably not going to be a great source of practice management, a tool for you. So if you are not in those categories, if you are open to learning, if you are not tied to if your self-esteem is not tied to how many hours you bill each day, and if you have if you're a good person, a good attorney, and who care about your clients and care about doing a great job, then flat fees really are a game changer in your practice and game changer in your life. And I'm not kidding, and I'm not exaggerating. So if you are wanting to learn more about how to incorporate flat fees properly so that you don't have to make the mistake that I made, that other attorneys have made, then I would encourage you to take the course, The Happier Attorney. You can find it on my website, britalong.com. That's just britalong.com, and learn how to do things properly. So have a good day. Thanks so much for watching. And please, if you like this video, click like, share it, subscribe, let the world know, because it's not just about flat fees. It's also about changing our culture as attorneys so that we can all be a little bit happier. Imagine working with happier attorneys. Imagine if every co-counsel you had or every opposing counsel you had was actually happy. Imagine that, how much happier your life would be. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Bye.